This is The Scoop for Wednesday.
I'm Megan Bowman with the WMNF News headlines. And the St. Petersburg City Council met yesterday for a final Rays Stadium and redevelopment deal workshop. WMNF's Chris Young tells us there were concerns over a forgotten burial ground under the proposed development.
St. Pete City Council Chair Deborah Figg Sanders brought up excavating the site at a point during Tuesday's hours-long meeting.
There are people that are buried there. I think we owe them the honor not to continue to build over them.
The area is home to Oak Lawn Cemetery. It's an African-American cemetery that was paved over for the stadium and its parking lots. In response to Figg Sanders, the city's Workforce and Development Director Brian Caper mentioned the past radar efforts at the stadium.
In that, it identified 4 areas that there was a disturbance. That could mean anything, really. The next step is to do ground truthing, which is to dig on the site to determine what is actually there, and if that disturbance aligns with remains.
Caper says efforts are set to continue. Officials say a plan will be formed once a report is completed, which could be as early as late fall. Figg Sanders says it's important to offer proper respect to the deceased.
When we say we want to pay homage to the descendants, you can't get any more honorable than that.
The City Council will vote on the stadium and redevelopment deal Thursday. Chris Young, WMNF News, Tampa.
Florida lawmakers say they are shocked at what happened over the weekend at Donald Trump's rally. Democratic U.S. Representative Kathy Castor, who represents part of Hillsborough and Pinellas counties, says the incident unfortunately reflects the political division nationwide.
But I think this is an important time for everyone to think about what unites us as Americans. We're so fortunate to live in a country where we're free and we can express ourselves.
Castor's no stranger to political violence. Her friend in D.C., former Congressmember Gabby Giffords, was shot in 2011 while hosting an event with constituents in Tucson, Arizona. And while Castor says the shooting in Pennsylvania is yet another episode in the epidemic of gun violence, she remains vigilant.
I do not want to live in a country where I'm worried that I can't talk to someone or someone cannot approach me at church or at the grocery store or out on the street. That's not the kind of place I want to live, and that's not how I would seek to conduct myself as an elected official either.
Castor says while gun manufacturers have a tight grip on policymaking, she's hopeful this incident could lead to more bipartisan legislation on gun safety. Democratic Florida House Representative Anna Eskamani called the assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump over the weekend horrifying and scary. She says Americans should be able to peacefully assemble without fear of gun violence, especially in political environments.
Unfortunately, it's become ever so common in the United States for there to be occurrences of gun violence. And of course, there's been elevated political rhetoric for years now,
which even Eskamani says she has been the target of. She's currently involved in an active investigation with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement over death threats. But while the representative says she appreciates President Biden's calls for unity, the incident still makes her nervous.
I think through my brain what I would do if someone pulled a gun on myself or my team. So that is a constant worry that I have. Of course, now it's even more serious because, unfortunately, violence often begets violence.
Eskamani says following the event, she spoke with her team to revisit their state security policies.
Regardless if you're at a political rally or if you're at a nightclub called Pulse, or if you're at your school learning, or if you're at the movie theater or at the mall or at the park or on your neighborhood curb, you should be able to have the freedom in this country to live without gun violence.
And to Eskamani, that reform should happen because if one of the most powerful men in American politics with armed and professional security isn't safe, it only reiterates what that means for the rest of the country. And State House Representative Mike Beltran, who serves part of Hillsborough and Manatee counties, is currently in Milwaukee at the Republican National Convention. The Republican says he was shocked and disappointed to see the attack at the Trump campaign rally. In a statement provided to WMNF, Beltran says the shooting appears to be the result of severe lapses in security, and he does not believe any change to gun laws should or will result from the incident. I'm Megan Bowman with the WMNF News headlines.
This is The Scoop, recorded at WMNF Tampa.